Hi, it's Dr. Ameet. Welcome to the Cure Your Mind online course. What you're about to watch are brief clips of the entire course because you'll get a really deep understanding of how your brain works and how your body works, as well as your emotions. The reason I've created this course for you is because I've seen thousands and thousands of people take nutritional supplements and medications and they don't heal the trauma from their past or resolve negative beliefs that they're living with. And I've also seen hundreds of people go for counseling without healing their bodies holistically. And remember, your body and the chemicals in it will affect your mind. And also the experiences that you grew up with will affect your mood and the way you look at life. What I'd like you to realize is that your mind and your mood is affected by hormones and chemicals in your brain. And these hormones and chemicals are affected by your liver, your adrenal glands, the foods you eat, your digestive system. I also want you to realize that instead of taking only medications, they are holistic therapies that treat the root cause. Brain and the mind do not heal easily from trauma and life experiences. And so it's important to see a counselor or any other therapist to look at the beliefs that you live with, the way you look at yourself and the world. Can these beliefs be changed so that they work to your advantage? If you want to feel well again inside and smile more often, there are amazing techniques that this course walks you through so that you can rewire your brain to remain happier for longer. Are you eating enough protein so that you can stabilize the nutrients in your blood? The hormones, progesterone, testosterone, estrogen, all influence your brain chemicals. And so I'm going to walk you through how your liver, your adrenal glands, and your thyroid, as well as inflammation, influence these hormones as well as your brain chemicals. Food allergies such as wheat, dairy, corn, soy, eggs for some people creates inflammation in your intestines, and that affects cortisol levels as well as brain chemicals, and that will permanently affect your mood. So you can actually become happier by repairing your gut and eliminating certain foods that you might be sensitive to. Do you know that testosterone and progesterone are directly linked to anxiety and depression, and that your adrenal glands actually affect the level of these hormones? And stress affects your adrenal glands by burning them out. So if your adrenal glands are burnt out, you will be low in testosterone and progesterone, meaning you'll be more susceptible to anxiety and depression. Your brain depends on chemicals such as serotonin, GABA, and dopamine to feel alert and happy. And so when your thyroid doesn't function well, or your liver is too toxic, or your adrenal glands are burnt out, and you have leaky gut syndrome or inflammation in your body, then your brain won't feel as happy anymore until we correct these brain chemicals and these key organs through holistic medicine, naturopathic medicine, and counseling. There's your digestive system. It's full of good bacteria, bad bacteria, and also serotonin, key brain chemical that keeps you happy. I'm going to teach you how to repair your gut using glutamine, probiotics, vitamin D, essential fatty acids, so that the balance of good bacteria in your intestines creates harmony throughout your entire body, and you have less toxicity, less inflammation, causing cortisol and brain chemical imbalances. By eating the right foods and protecting your intestines, all these good bacteria in there will produce more serotonin and keep you happier for longer. And in addition, we're going to detoxify your liver in the right way, restore adrenal gland balance, so all your brain chemicals will be at healthy levels. This will make happiness feel so much more natural. So come join me over the next few weeks and change your life by healing your body holistically and transforming your mind positively. If you have low enzymes and low stomach acid, you're not breaking down protein and other foods properly, which means that these foods start rotting in your intestines. And when they start rotting, putrefaction it's called, it causes more intestinal damage and makes your leaky gut syndrome even worse. You're not going to absorb as many nutrients as you can, and therefore you'll make less neurotransmitters in your body, less hormones, less brain chemicals, and therefore your mood will be affected as well. And as we saw before, a lot of serotonin is produced in your intestines. So a damaged intestine from a poor diet and too many medications, too much alcohol, and too much coffee will mean that you'll produce less serotonin over time. Now, your body produces cortisol from your adrenal glands to manage inflammation. If there's too much inflammation, then your body has to produce way too much cortisol. And this is produced by your adrenal system. And your adrenal glands are already tired from chronic stress, which we'll talk about later. So inflammation actually makes your adrenal glands even more tired, and you end up having a cortisol imbalance in your blood, and that also suppresses your neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, GABA, and melatonin. So you can see a direct correlation between inflammation and leaky gut syndrome and adrenal fatigue, which therefore affects your mood and causes anxiety and depression. Hey, and welcome to part 3 of Cure Your Mind online course. Today we're going to talk about the liver and how the liver affects your digestion and your mental health. If your liver is not functioning well, it'll produce less bile. And with less bile produced, of course, there's less lubrication. That's called constipation. With poor liver function, there's poor digestion, right? Because there's less bile, which means if you're digesting your food less, you will have less food to absorb. And that means less nutrients to make your brain chemicals such as serotonin, GABA, dopamine, and melatonin, all important for brain function. Low thyroid function significantly affects your liver. So let's go and heal the liver now. This is the most exciting part. I find that the liver is really the fundamental organ to health, and you'll have combinations supplements that have a combination of different herbs in them. So look for these combinations because they have a nice cleansing effect on the liver cells as well as a rejuvenating effect on the liver cells. There's certain foods as well that will stimulate bile flow and also repair the liver cells. Beetroot is high in glutathione, which is an antioxidant which helps gut repair. Your adrenal glands also help with hormonal balance. So if your adrenal glands are exhausted, your testosterone levels will generally be lower. Progesterone actually helps GABA work better in your brain. So low progesterone means less GABA, or less GABA is working well, and therefore more anxiety. And also you'll notice that people with low progesterone will have poor sleep. So with insomnia, always treat the liver and the adrenal system as well. And of course remove inflammatory foods so that we can stabilize all these neurotransmitters. And where does chronic inflammation come from? That comes from basically having inflammatory foods and having leaky gut syndrome. Remember the poor digestive function we talked about? GABA is the anti-anxiety brain chemical. Dopamine is another feel-good neurotransmitter. So when your adrenal system is out of balance, that means your cortisol levels are out of balance, which makes these brain chemicals also out of balance, causing anxiety, depression, fatigue, insomnia. When cortisol is imbalanced, TSH is reduced, and therefore your thyroid function is reduced. Why is your thyroid hormone and your thyroid gland extremely important for mental health? One is your brain uses thyroid T3 to make serotonin, and serotonin, as you know, helps you feel good. The other thing that affects the adrenal system, of course, is emotional memory through the brain, through the hypothalamus pituitary axis. Today we're going to talk about neurotransmitters, the chemicals in your brain and in your body that affect your mood. We've covered digestive health, leaky gut syndrome, detoxifying your liver, and restoring your adrenal gland balance. Serotonin increases your sense of comfort. Key thing to remember is high amounts of serotonin are produced in your intestines, not only in your brain. Okay, some is produced in your brain, but a high amount is produced in your intestines, and that's why we gotta repair the gut, heal the gut, and detoxify the liver. Amount of probiotics and also low levels of inflammation in your gut will improve your serotonin levels and therefore reduce levels of depression. A very interesting thing about low serotonin is the tendency towards aggressiveness and irritability. Not many people tie low serotonin to liver imbalance. In Chinese medicine, liver stagnation or the stagnation of energy in your liver will lead to PMS, premenstrual symptoms, depression, anxiety, gas, and bloating. You have suicidal tendencies, low self-esteem, a lot of self-criticism, attacking the self. The fundamental treatment for all of these neurotransmitters is first heal the gut, detoxify the liver. This is very important in low serotonin. Please remember that vitamin B6 is crucial to the production of GABA. Typical low GABA symptoms are your worries, your fears, your anxiety attacks. GABA also helps with rational decision making. Typical homeopathic remedies that match the low GABA symptom are calcarea carbonica, phosphoric acid, and caliphos. These are remedies typically for burnout. Dopamine is another neurotransmitter related with pleasure relaxation. The ability to feel pleasure is directly connected to your levels of serotonin as well as dopamine. Dopamine helps with motivation, sense of alertness. Of course, if adrenaline and noradrenaline are high for too long, then you'll get symptoms of anxiety, panic attacks, lack of sleep. Endorphins are your feel-good, yummy neurotransmitters. And the interesting thing about endorphins are they actually improve self-esteem, similar to serotonin. So thanks for today. In the next video, we'll be going through all the different supplements, just summarizing everything I've talked about. Probiotics are fundamental to improving serotonin production. Remember that most of your serotonin is produced in your gut, and serotonin is fundamental for anxiety and depression. Probiotics also help reduce the amounts of bad bacteria and fungi in your intestine. The reason I use glutamine in my mental health protocol is because glutamine provides fuel for the intestinal lining, as there's a valve between your small and large intestine that needs to function well, and that needs vitamin D and calcium to function well. You have certain bacteria in your large intestine and certain bacteria in your small intestine. And the environment of your small and large intestine need to be kept separate. And that's kept separate using this valve. Magnesium is important also to metabolize your proteins. And remember, you need proteins to create your neurotransmitters and your endorphins. Magnesium is found almost everywhere. Avocados are a fantastic source, and I love avocado. Bananas, brown rice, your nuts and seeds are great sources of magnesium. And they provide good amounts of protein. So if you're snacking on nuts and seeds, you have a stable release of nutrients in your blood, right? So you don't get the sugar and insulin spikes when you're having your nuts and seeds. Vitamin B12 reduces homocysteine, which is different from histamine. Homocysteine is related to inflammation. Inflammation is also directly has been connected to anxiety, depression, and schizophrenia. Zinc helps your body absorb your B vitamins, and as you saw, your B vitamins are fundamental for emotional well-being and adrenal health. Vitamin C, often forgotten, but is really fundamental for adrenal gland function. Vitamin C is very important during stress because it helps you produce adrenaline. Phenylalanine helps make endorphins, so it's great when you have a lot of emotional pain and physical pain as well. And next we're going to cover the homeopathic remedies you can use to recover from stress and deal with specific traumas in your life. The key take-home message I want to give today is that emotional illness, whether it's anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, all of these things, including actually physical symptoms, can have a trigger, an emotional trigger from the past, what we call trauma or shock. And this shock can be financial loss, sexual abuse, parents fighting, a relationship breakup, divorce. These events will alter the person's life. It'll alter their perception of themselves. It'll alter their behavior. It'll alter their interpretation of the environment around them. It'll make them feel less secure, more threatened. All these effects actually have a long-term impact on a person's life and contribute towards emotional illness such as anxiety, depression, chronic illness, even bipolar and schizophrenia at times. How do we select the right remedy? A lot of suicidal feelings often indicates aurum. Are they timid and holding back a lot of feelings? Then you're looking at Staphylos aureus. If they appear weak, broken, poor memory, just fatigue, then you're looking at phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid is a great remedy for burnout, fogginess, and just feeling broken after an event. And I'll cover more details later on specific remedies. I've had some patients who were in the Westgate terrorist attack in Kenya, where terrorists actually murdered, shot, blew up a lot of people right in front of their eyes. Of course, aconite was a fantastic remedy during this event. Ignatia is one of the first remedies I think of when somebody's gone through grief and disappointment or some shock, especially heartbreak and humiliation. They suffer from anxiety mixed with depression and fear. There's a lot of fear in Ignatia. Everyone can use Bach flower remedies. They're very easy to use. They're great because they don't suppress your symptoms, and they cover a wide range of symptoms. There's over 30 Bach flower remedies out there for emotions such as guilt, anxiety, fear, jealousy, anger, depression, because Bach flower remedies help manage intense emotions. Red chestnut is a good remedy for anxiety, especially for people who are over anxious about their loved ones or over concerned about others. They fear something bad will happen to their family members, and this is a very common symptom. Walnut is a great
remedy for people who want to break away from old habits, unhealthy relationships, and go through change. You know, change could be marriage, divorce, finding a new job. Walnut just helps people transition through life much easier. Mustard, again, like I said, is one of the best remedies for depression. This is really the depressed feeling, a sense of a dark cloud over their head, a sense of gloominess, lack of joy, chronic sadness, or whether it's for known or unknown reasons. Mustard is the remedy to use in conjunction with other remedies when it comes to depression. Sweet chestnut, like I covered in the section on anxiety, is for a deep sense of mental anguish, a sense of despair, a sense that there's no way out of this depression, right? So you feel overwhelmed, tormented. Really, the soul is suffering here. So sweet chestnuts will relieve this mental anguish and just, yeah, stop the overwhelming feeling and give people the hope to become more positive. Thank you for watching this video. Come sign up for the Cure Your Mind online course. I promise you, you'll love it. Or book a Skype consult with me, and we'll try and treat the root cause of both your emotional and physical issues.